let's go over best practices for PTP550. So I have here link connected PTP550 and my network topology is as follows. So this PC you are seeing is connected to, let's call it a PC1, is connected to mikrotik router 1. Mikrotik router, another port is connected to PTP550 master, and PTP550 master over wireless is connected to 550 slave, and slave side Ethernet port is connected to mikrotik router 2, which is connected to PC2. So this is the network topology. So right now you can see this screen is PC1, and on PC2 I have a TeamViewer running, which you can see right here. This is slave side, and this is a master side. Let's start with channel bonding. So as you can see, I'm on my master side is doing channel bonding 20+20. Radio 1 is on 5800 and radio 2 is on 5225, and slave side is connected to this master side. So the first part is to guide you about how to test channel bonding using mikrotik switches. So first thing that we generally do when we test using mikrotik is mikrotik bandwidth test, which is of course a great tool, but it cannot be used for channel bonding because there is a special requirement that channel bonding needs to have multiple flows or multiple streams. As you can see in bandwidth test, you have different things that you can configure on the bandwidth test. So okay, so this side is 99.1 and the slave side mikrotik is 99.2, as you can see here. Okay, so let's give it a shot and see what happens when we start the mikrotik bandwidth test. So as you can see, I'm getting this throughput around 75 and 75, which is the throughput for single 20 megahertz channel. So why am I not getting the double? I should be getting the double of 75, 75. I should get something around 150 on the downlink and 150 on the uplink. Let's quickly verify that by going to the throughput chart. As you can see, there is nothing flowing through radio 1. All the traffic is flowing through radio 2. This is something around 70, 67, 70. And if you do radio 1 plus radio 2, it's the same thing. So basically there is no traffic flowing through radio 1. So that's the limitation, and that's the reason why you should not be testing using mikrotik bandwidth test for channel bonding, because it generates only one stream or one flow. So stream is basically identified mainly by source IP address, destination IP address, source port, and destination port. So here your source IP address is 99.1, destination is 99.2, and when you start mikrotik bandwidth test, your source port and destination port is one single port number. That's the reason PTP550 load balancer is so designed that you need to have multiple flows for traffic to be divided into two radios, which is not happening here. And there is no option in configuration of bandwidth test to configure that. So bandwidth test is out of option for testing channel bonding. So we are gonna have to use a traffic generator. And let me quickly show you how you configure the traffic generator. So there are, as you can see here, so you have to configure these commands on mikrotik 1 and these on mikrotik 2. So you will be pushing something around 150 Mbps from mikrotik 1 and same thing on the mikrotik 2, and then you will see what throughput you get. As you can see here, I'm configuring mikrotik with this command. It tells that your UDP destination port is going to be from 101 to 300. So basically we are generating 200 flows. Same thing on mikrotik 2. So when we will be pushing traffic from mikrotik 2 for destination port on mikrotik 1, we will be telling to generate the streams all the way from port number 101 to 300, which is 200 streams. And as you can see here, which tells you in more depth what I just explained to you regarding how the load balancer works and all that. So you can go to the community knowledge base PTP FAQ and look for this topic, PTP550 load balancing and throughput testing. It will have all the details that I just spoke regarding IP address and flows and how many streams you need, how many minimum streams that you need. So in order to test channel bonding, I'm going to copy this command in mikrotik 1. So this, I have opened this using tools and traffic generator. And if I click packet templates, this window opens up. And if I click streams, this window opens up. So right now there is nothing, and you can configure them by using this command. Let me type it in. So as you can see, the packet template popped up. Similarly, I'm going to do the second one. So now your traffic generator is ready from mikrotik 1, which is your downlink side. So you have to do the same thing on mikrotik 2 as well. Now the traffic generator is ready. From my experience, I can tell you that the traffic generator sometimes gives you some weird results. That's why you gotta make sure a few things first. One is your ARP table is ready, meaning on the ARP table of this mikrotik, you have the entry for the destination. So for that, you make sure you ping before you start it. So let's start pushing the traffic, and before we do that, let's open the interface. So I have connected 550 master side master on ether 5, and let's start pushing the traffic. One more thing I would like to make a note. So test ID, let's say is 1. So as you can see, I'm pushing something around 150, and let's go to the slave side and see what we are receiving. Ether 5, and as you can see, so this team viewer sessions receive is nothing but this guy, mikrotik 2. So this what I'm pushing is right here on mikrotik 1, and here you can see it's receiving at speeds around 150, and you can also see by going to the radio. So now you have traffic on radio 1, traffic on radio 2, and some of it on both the radios. So this is unidirectional UDP throughput, which is something around 150. That's your throughput, and that's how you test using mikrotik traffic generator to make sure that both the radios are being utilized. So let's start it from the other side and do bidirectional traffic. Okay, so one thing I would like to note here, we had test ID as 1. Make sure you always have different test ID on the other side when you start. So keep it 2 or anything else, anything other than 1. And you hit the start button. So you will see you are pushing at 150. And okay, so this is something that I talked about. This is weird with mikrotik bandwidth test. You have got to stop both the sides, start again. So make sure to do this if you don't see the throughput that you are expecting, or in any case, because you might not be knowing what to expect, make sure you stop and start. Okay, so this time when I stopped and started again, I have full throughput. So you should only see the receive. So I'm getting something around 147, 150, let's say 150 on the downlink, and on the uplink, if you see the receive, same thing. So I'm pushing 150 and I'm getting something very close to 150, which you would expect from 20 plus 20. That's how you test using the traffic generator to make sure that both the radios are being utilized, and do not test channel bonding using mikrotik bandwidth test, because mikrotik bandwidth test cannot generate multiple flows and all your traffic will only be flowing through one radio.